Welcome to the Pilar installation video. Installing the Pilar kitchen pull-down isn't hard, but it's a little different than a standard faucet because it has Touch2O technology. In this video, we'll walk you through the installation process step by step. As with any faucet installation, before you begin, make sure you have all the components you need. You'll see them on page 3 of the Maintenance and Installation Guide. You'll also need a few basic tools. The first step is to install the spout. At the bottom of the spout is a groove. Insert the gasket in the groove and press it in nice and tight so it seats all the way around. Then snap the washer and insulator together. Place the spout in the sink hole, making sure that the sensor is facing forward. If the surface of the sink is rough or uneven, apply a little silicone to the gasket first. That will help seal up any gaps. Step 2. Install the stabilization plate and secure the spout. Pilar is designed for a maximum countertop thickness of 2.5 inches. If you're installing it on a stainless steel or thin sink, you'll need to use the stabilization plate. Slide the plate over the spout shank, making sure that the remaining holes are aligned. Then put the insulator and the nut on the shank and tighten. Spin on and hand tighten the nut. Then use a Phillips screwdriver to tighten the jack screws to secure the spout. Step 3. Install the valve. Start by sliding the gasket up over the supply lines and into the groove in the base of the valve assembly. Once again, if the sink surface is rough or uneven, apply silicone to the gasket. With the handle in the off position facing toward the sink, feed the supply lines through the hole. Then use the mounting bracket to secure the valve assembly to the sink, using the spacer if needed. Put the nut on the threaded rod and tighten it by hand. There's a special wrench supplied with the faucet. Use it to tighten the nut and secure the valve to the sink. If the valve sleeve is loose, or if you have a gap between the valve sleeve and the black footer, just rotate the sleeve clockwise until it's snug. Step 4. Install the solenoid. Slide the solenoid onto the hose line coming from the valve and attach the clip. Make sure the clip is through the slots on the solenoid. Step 5. Install the spray hose. First, insert the plastic hose guide into the end of the hose and feed the hose through the spout until it comes out the shank underneath the sink. The hose guide prevents the hose from getting hung up inside the spout. It's best to leave a few inches of hose hanging from the spout so it doesn't get pulled completely inside during installation. Then, go under the sink, remove the hose guide, and push the hose end onto the bottom of the solenoid. Attach the clip to secure the hose to the solenoid. One more thing. Pilar was designed to be used without a hose weight. Adding a hose weight could cause the wand to dock at an angle. Step 6. Make the wiring connections. Start by attaching the wire from the solenoid onto the groove on the bottom of the spout using the clip. Next, connect the wire from the spout to the corresponding wire from the solenoid. Then connect the wire from the valve to the matching spade connection from the solenoid. Next, mount the battery pack. Pull off the plastic backing and press the pack firmly in place in a convenient location. Then connect it to the wires from the solenoid. Do not install the batteries yet. Step 7. Install the soap dispenser. Just as you did with the spout and the valve, seat the gasket in the base of the dispenser handle and insert the dispenser in the sink. Then secure it to the sink with the supplied nut. Step 8. Connect the water lines. Start by installing these check valves onto the supply stops. They're essential for the faucet to operate properly. Insert the ferrule into one of the stops, then screw on the check valve and tighten. Be careful not to over-tighten. Do the same for the other stop. Next, attach the hot and cold water lines to their respective check valves. If the supply lines are too long for your application, we strongly recommend just looping them as shown rather than cutting, since cutting introduces a potential leak point. Then secure the water line to the top of the check valve. Hand tighten the nut to a snug position, then give it another full turn with a wrench. Do the same for the other supply stop. Step 9 is to install the ground harness. Establishing a proper ground for the faucet is extremely important. Insert the C-clips on the ends of the green wire harness into the grooves on the inlet nuts. Then wrap them with electrical tape for a secure fit. Then connect the male connector from the ground wire harness to the matching female connector from the solenoid. On the remaining lead, strip the wire and connect it to the ground of the dishwasher, garbage disposal, or an outlet to provide proper grounding. The supplied banana plug can be used to connect to an outlet. Then insert the banana plug into the ground hole of the outlet under the sink to provide a proper ground for the electronics of the faucet. In a case where copper inlet supplies may connect to CPVC or PEX in the wall, you'll need to use a digital multimeter to see if all the plumbing in the house is connected to the earth ground of the electrical wiring. Set the multimeter to the lowest ohm setting. Then connect one probe to earth ground and the other to the water inlets. The resistance reading should be less than 10 ohms. If it's greater than 10 ohms, connect the green wire to the earth ground of AC power. Step 10. Make the final connections. First, load 4 C batteries into the battery box. Wait 30 seconds for the electronics to reset. Then, turn on the water supply lines. Drain the spout hose to flush away any debris. Hold the end of the hose over the sink, put the handle in the full on position and rotate it back and forth between hot and cold for about a minute. Install the spray wand by hand tightening it onto the end of the hose. Check under the sink to make sure there's nothing that will interfere with the motion of the hose when the spray wand is pulled out of the spout. Then, check the connections to the solenoid and the connections at the stops for any leaks. Retighten if necessary, but do not over-tighten. Step 11 is to test the operation of the faucet. Use the handle to turn the faucet on and then tap the spout to turn it off and on electronically. Grasp and rotate the spout. Test the spray and stream modes of the wand. Step 12. Attach and fill the bottle for the soap dispenser. Screw the bottle into the soap dispenser. Then remove the plunger and fill the bottle with soap. Be careful not to overfill the soap dispenser. Then replace the plunger. Step 13. Troubleshooting. When properly installed, the Pilar kitchen pull-down will provide trouble-free operation from the start. But if you do have a problem, here are a few simple things to check before calling Delta Faucet Company. If the handle or spout doesn't respond to touch, check the batteries. Make sure the batteries are new and properly loaded in the battery box and that power is available. Another possible cause is that the grounding clips are not connected. Make sure they're properly installed as described in the Maintenance and Installation Guide and that the faucet is grounded to an electrical or plumbing line. Check to be sure all electrical connections are solid. Another possibility is that the spout is in electrical contact with the sink. Make sure the spout insulating elements are in place and again check for proper grounding. The valve may simply not be turned on. Make sure the handle is in the on position and that power is available. It could also be that the user is not touching the faucet properly. Make sure the touch is not too long or too short. It should be deliberate, like striking a key on a piano. Don't use fingernails or a dry cloth to touch the faucet. Finally, the unit may need to reset. Disconnect the battery. Wait 30 seconds, then reconnect the battery. What if the faucet turns on and off by itself? The grounding clips may not be properly installed. Make sure they haven't been bumped off with use and that they're in the proper place and secured with tape. Also check for proper grounding. The spout may be in electrical contact with the sink. Make sure the spout insulating elements are in place. Remember too that the faucet automatically shuts itself off after 4 minutes if there is no activity. If the LED does not come on, it may be that there's no power. Check the batteries. If there's a cross flow of hot and cold water, it could be that the check valves are not properly installed on the supply lines. Make sure the ferrules are screwed onto the check valves and that the hot and cold water lines are attached to their respective check valves. If you've taken these troubleshooting steps and the faucet still doesn't work properly, call Delta Faucet Company at 800-345-DELTA. With proper installation, the Pilar kitchen pull-down with Touch2O technology will provide the homeowner with years of smart, efficient, trouble-free water delivery.